Hey, this is Alan Yip. Welcome to Study and Shine. Today, the topic is IQ is not enough. You need AQ as well. What is AQ? Is adversity quotient. If you want to move to the next level of performance or results, you definitely need to understand AQ and work on this very important ingredient for success. Let me first of all share with you an extensive study done by a very famous American psychologist by the name of Lewis Terman from Stanford University. He studied 1,500 high IQ children, gifted students with IQ of over 140. So if you look at the general population, out of 200 people, only really one person will have an IQ of 140 and above. And at that time, so Lewis Terman wanted to understand what IQ would do to a person's success and happiness. And he followed these children for more than 50 years. Essentially, he would just study them from students all the way to young adults to their adults, and even when they were in the 50s, and with regular survey and research interviews. And the scientists finally concluded that high IQ and high achievement are not perfectly correlated. So what that means to you is high IQ is not a predictor or good predictor of success in life. So what is then, besides IQ, right? IQ is just one thing. Well, we need to work on AQ. In this case, AQ is adversity quotient. What is adversity quotient? Is the science of human resilience. AQ measures 4 components, and I use an acronym called C.O.R.E, and let's get into it. So the first letter is C, C for control, and that is how much control do you feel you have over your chances of success? How much control do you feel that you have over certain events, like, for example, your studies, your exam performance, or your sports practice and your sports performance? If you have a strong control, you have higher resilience, you have higher AQ. The next letter is O for ownership. That means how much ownership are you taking of the improvement or whatever projects you're working on? Are you taking full responsibility for these projects? And studies show that for those people who don't take ownership of their own success, and that is the very reason why these people have not done well or even failed, okay? Very important. Next one is R, and that means reach. And if you have a setback, if you have a temporary defeat, do you allow this setback to reach out and affect other areas of your life? So another important consideration. Last one is E for endurance, and that is for how long can you endure this failure or setback or this temporary defeat. And for people with high resilience, they can endure for a long time. And that means they won't be beaten down, they won't be dragged down, but they can endure. Yet people with low resilience always treat even short-term setbacks as long-term failures. That's why they don't keep trying, they don't continue their journey anymore or their mission anymore. And with that, now, how can you develop a high AQ or high level of resilience? Let me offer you 3 particular strategies. Number 1, and that is to block out your mistake, especially when you have, for example, an exam or a competition or a performance, okay? On the exam, if you look at certain questions, you say, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do them. And at that moment, you've got to block out those mistakes. That means block out those questions. Or if you make mistakes, you have to block them out and continue on. You don't want to let those temporary setbacks affect the rest of the exam paper. Or if this is for example, singing competition or sports performance or competition, you don't want one small mistake you don't want that to affect the rest of your singing performance, right? So the first step is to block out and refocus on the rest of your exam or competition or performance. And after everything is over, yes, by all means, now take the time to evaluate how you make the mistake or what you need to do to improve upon it. Second strategy is control. How can you increase that locus of control? What psychologists call locus of control. Very important. And the first step for you is to focus on those small steps or acts of control. That means things normally that you say, oh, I cannot do it. I don't know how to make good notes in studies. I don't know how to apply for a job. I don't even know how to write a resume. And that is a small step you can take where you can learn how to do it. And after you have learned how to do it, you must do it. You can even go out and hand deliver your resumes to prospective employers. And that is what I'm talking about. These are examples of taking control of the small things that normally you say to yourself you cannot do. And now is the time for you to do them. The more you do them, the more small steps you take, the bigger the challenges you can tackle next time. The last strategy, and that is to reframe the situation. Whenever you have a negative experience, whenever you have a failure or setback, immediately reframe the situation by looking for the silver lining, for seeking the good in that experience. You can always learn something from it. And don't call that a failure, call it a what? A lesson, a learning point, a good opportunity to improve. And that is how you can now take control. You can move forward to build your level of resilience and to increase your AQ. And just one last thing. From now on, don't focus on IQ. Okay, if you're listening to me, trust me, your IQ is good enough. Focus on AQ, and as Carol Dweck said so brilliantly, focus on the efforts, the hard work you can and must put into whatever you're pursuing. So efforts is the key, not the outcome, not IQ, but efforts and AQ. And with that, I hope this video has been of use to you. Please share it with other people you care about. Thank you so much for watching.